In this lesson, we're going to just do extra practice for balancing redox reactions. So nothing new, it's just going to be extra practice.
First example.
Step 1. Let's split this into half reactions
By keeping like elements together. So chromium goes with chromium, and then hydrogen peroxide is going to go with oxygen.
Step 2. Balance elements other than hydrogen and oxygen. Well, here I only have hydrogen and oxygen, so we have nothing to do for step 2. In my second reaction, I have 2 chromiums, so let's add a 2 here. Next step, balance oxygen by adding water. 2 oxygens, 2 oxygens. It's already balanced. Here I have 7 oxygens. So let's add 7H2O, gave me 7 oxygens. Next step, balance hydrogen by adding H+. 2 hydrogens, so I'm going to do plus 2H+. 7 times 2 gives me 14, so 14H+. Next, balance charge by adding electrons. Hydrogen peroxide is neutral. Oxygen is neutral. 2 times a positive 1. This gives me a charge of plus 2. I need these charges to be equal. Electrons are negative. So I need 2 electrons and I need them on the product side. Positive 2 plus a negative 2 gets me down to 0. Alright, here is a positive 14 and a negative 2. Positive 14 and negative 2 gives me a positive 12. 2 times a positive 3 gives me positive 6 plus 0. So I need to bring this charge down from a positive 12 down to a positive 6. So I can add 6 electrons. Again, the electrons should be on opposite sides. Next step, equalize the electrons. The electrons have to be the same. So all I need to do is multiply the first reaction by 3. 3 times 2 gives me 6 electrons. So don't multiply the second reaction by anything. I'm going to rewrite the second equation just so we can see what's going on a little easier. Next, let's see what we can cancel. 6 electrons, 6 electrons. I can cancel out 6 hydrogens. If I cancel out 6 hydrogens, that will give me 8 left over. So what I have left on the reactant side, I'm going to bring down. And then same thing on the product side. So bring down your 3 oxygens. These both canceled, 2 chromium ions, and 7
H2O. Your last step should be to go through and make sure that it balances. 3 times 2 gives me 6 hydrogens, plus 8 is 14. 7 times 2 is 14. 2 chromiums, 2 chromiums. 3 times 2 is 6 oxygens, plus 7 gives me 13. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 7 gives me 13. And my net charge should be a positive 6. Neutral, neutral, 2 times 3 is positive 6. So here I have a positive 8 minus 2 gives me positive 6. So this one's balanced. Next example. First step, break it up into half reactions. Let's keep sulfur together and manganese together. Balance elements other than hydrogen and oxygen. My first one is balanced. My second one is balanced. Step 3, balance oxygen by adding water. I have 4 oxygens on the reactant side. I need 4 oxygens on the product side. 4 oxygens, and here I have 3, so I need 1 more. 1 plus 3 gives me 4 oxygens. Next, balance hydrogen. 4 times 2 gives me 8. Careful here. Here I have 2 hydrogens plus 1 more, so I need 3. Next comes charge. 8 times a positive 1 is positive 8, minus 1 gives me plus 7. This is neutral, and I have a positive 2. So I need to bring this down from a positive 7 down to a positive 2. So I need 5 negative charges. I'm going to add 5 electrons. Here my charge is neutral and negative 1. Here I have a negative 2 and a positive 3. So I need to bring this down to a negative 1. I would need 2 electrons. Positive 1 minus 2 gets me to negative 1. Next step is to equalize the electrons. The easiest way to do that is multiply the first reaction by 2. 2 times 5 gives me 10. So this one I would have to multiply by 5. So multiply every single coefficient in the first reaction by 2. For the second reaction, we want to multiply everything by 5. Before we add these reactions together, let's see what we can cancel. You should always be able to cancel the electrons because we equalized them. Here I have 5 waters, here I have 8. Let's cancel 5 of them. If I have 8 and I cancel 5,
That gives me 3 left over. I could also cancel out 15 hydrogens. If I cancel out 15, I now have 1 left over. Let's bring everything down. So this one, I'm not going to go through and count with you, but your final step should be to go through and count the number of each atom, make sure it's balanced, and then also make sure that the charge is balanced. I'm going to do one more example problem. If you feel pretty confident, try this one on your own. So if you're ready to do this one on your own, pause the video and then check your answer. If you need to go through one more together, stick with me. So step 1 is we are going to divide this into half reactions, keeping the nitrogens together and keeping the iodines together. Don't forget that second step. This is probably the most missed step. Balance elements other than hydrogen and oxygen. So here I have 2 iodines, so I need a 2 here. My nitrogens are already balanced. Next step, balance oxygen by adding water. 2 times 3 gives me 6 oxygens. 6 H2O would give me 6 oxygens. Here I have 3 oxygens, but here I only have 1. 2 plus 1 equals 3. Now let's balance hydrogen. 6 times 2 gives me 12 hydrogens. Don't forget that charge. 12H plus. Here I have 2 hydrogens, 2H plus. Now let's balance charge. Water is neutral, iodine is neutral, net charge is 0. 2 times a -1 gives me -2. 12 times a +1 gives me a +12. So my net charge is +10. I would need to add 10 electrons. 10 positives plus 10 negatives equals 0. Here I have 2 times a +1. Nitrate is -1. Net charge is +1. Neutral, neutral. So I could add 1 electron. -1, +1 is neutral. Next step, neutralize the electrons. Here I have 10 electrons. Here I need 10 electrons. So let's multiply this reaction by 10. You do not need to multiply the first one by anything, so I'm just going to rewrite it.
For the second reaction, multiply every coefficient by 10.
Let's see what we can cancel out.
10 electrons, 10 electrons. 6 waters, 6 waters, that gives me 4 left over. 12 hydrogens, cancel out 12, that gives me 8 left over. So what I have left, I'm going to rewrite. So bring down everything from the reacted side, and then we want to bring down everything from the product side.
And again, your last step is you can go through and count atoms and also count charge. It should be equal on both sides of the arrow.